Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. What a fine fall day we have here. Um, I'd say the leaves are falling, but they took my tree away 2 years ago, so I don't have any leaves falling this year. Hey, good morning, Frank. Good to see you. So, Frank, you interested in learning how to edit your machine files? Yeah, I got that. I got that. No, this is that's what we're gonna do today. Hey Diane, good morning. Good morning. And Barb is here too. Good morning. Um, one of my regular followers, Cindy King out of Texas. Um, she does these cute little uh, tip of the day kind of videos. And with her permission, I have now started posting those on my YouTube channel. So if you guys get a chance to go over and look, you can't miss them. They're big yellow banners at quick 2 stitch dot. No, that's my website. YouTube would be the at symbol quick 2 stitch. So anyways, and she does a wonderful job. I'm so glad that I can share these two with a larger audience. Machine, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Da, 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 da. But she's not here today. Cindy's not here today. She's off supporting her local quilt shop, something we should all do. She's taking a mug rug, embroidery mug rug class there. Diane, have you seen them? They are. Did you see the last one with her horny toad? Yeah, I thought that was so cute. And you're right, Barb. She does do an amazing job. So what are we doing today? We are going to edit a machine file. Machine file is that DST or the PES or the PE3. It's the file that the machine uses to communicate to the needles to tell the needles where to stitch. Hey Jesse, good morning. Good to see you. Jesse's here. Good morning. So yeah. And this has been a feature that's been available for a while, but honestly, I've only just learned how to do it myself. So I figured, if I'm just learning it, maybe you guys might be interested in learning it, especially those that use the Wilcom platform. Now, I don't know if Hatch, remember Hatch is the little sister to Wilcom. I don't know if Hatch can do this, but if you're running Hatch, you can easily find this out for yourself using the same steps that I'm going to show you today. Hold on just a moment. All right, just had to check something, sorry. So, how do we do this? How do we know that we're working with the file we want to work with? Well, here, I'm going to show you my working screen. Ta-da! So this is a freestanding lace file. Sorry. This is a freestanding lace file that I created. It's part of a set of hanging elements to a crib mobile. That's what I was trying to look for, a crib mobile. There's like 6 or 8 of these in the set, but I created them when I was doing some freestanding lace work for Applique Getaway and Everything Embroidery Market. So I thought this would be a perfect piece to show you about editing DST files. Now this file is a native file. And how can you tell that? Well, there's a couple of ways you can tell. First, in the color object list, all of these elements, all of these objects, these are called objects, are broken out individually. All right. Another way you can tell if you're working with a native file, if you go into the file information, and let's just, do we want to do this? No, we'll just bring this one over too. If you go into the design information, Wilcom will grade your design. Down here, it tells us the details of the design, but at the very bottom here, it gives you an EMB grade. If this is an EMB file, which is Wilcom's native working file, it will give you a grade. All right. Not quite sure, because I haven't done this before. Let me move this out of the way here and reattach this over here. And we're going to reattach this over here. Ooh. All right. So we're going to work with a machine file. And because, we all know that DST files do not retain the color assignment. So we're going to work with the PES file. PES is very common. But to do that, I'm going to import the PES file. I'm going to open this. I enlarged my native file for you, for visual, so that you can see it better. Now let's see what this one says. In fact, let's cut this here. Let's open this here. Oh, background color. I like the background color so you can see and paste. Oops, that was wrong. Okay. Oh, I did it again. Bump. Sometimes you just got to do it the hard way. All right, people. What am I trying to do here, right? Just trying to move the silly thing. All right. How about we don't move it? Just not that important, is it? Okay, so how do I know that this is not a native file? I know, Frank, group all. Would that not have been easier? So how do I know that this is not a native file? Well, first, if I look over here, these little symbols, these are all manual stitch symbols. This is telling me that this object is all manual stitching. If I go into here, my EMB grade is a D. This one's going to flunk the EMB. But here, there's an easier way to know that you're working with a machine file. Select everything and press your reshape settings. You see all those blue dots? Those are all stitches. You can move each one of these individually, but it's going to take forever to make any kind of edit. There's something else to think about. If I want to resize this, it is not going to resize the stitch length, or excuse me, it's not going to maintain the assigned stitch length. Between these two elements here, that is supposed to be a 4mm stitch. If I measure this, it is now 14mm. What does that mean in this particular sizing? That means that this is one stitch. Going to make a needle penetration here. Then the needle is going to jump, and it's going to cycle twice because we can't generally make a 14mm stitch. And then it's going to come over here and make a needle penetration. That's too long, right? That's not going to work. So what do? We can't resize this. I mean, we could, but you know, it's not going to be really nice. It's going to have issues. Some of the other things we can't do, we want to make this a fill. We're going to delete one of those layers. Remember, these are all running stitches, or excuse me, manual stitches. So each one of those is a stitch node. I can't change this. I can't do anything with this. I want to make this a fill. I can't do that. All of my fill options are grayed out. I can't do anything with it. I can change its color. I can squish it down, but I can't change the stitch length. Maybe I can. Let's see what happens here if we do this. Nope. Can't change the stitch length. I can't do anything with a machine file. And as a digitizer, I'm just as stuck with this as you are when I'm working strictly with a machine file. So what are our options? Well, we're going to close that. In Wilcom, and I'm going to open this up again because, you know, I want you to see it. Remember, this is our native file. This is our PES machine file that we can't do anything with because it's got all these manual stitches. So what do? Well, we import the machine file, or excuse me, we open the machine file and we look down here at these little options. Now, again, if you're running Hatch, I don't know if you can do this or not, but they are, you know, they're related software, so maybe you can. If you open up the options, there is an option here that will convert all of those manual stitches to objects. So we say okay. And that is, once you select that, every machine file that you open will do this. It's not until you change it back or you unclick that option. So once you set it, it will stay. So now we open it. Let's move this one over here. And this piece is highlighted. What happens if we do this? That's much better. Yes, there is still, these are all still manual stitches. This one's not. Okay, so let's go back to our And I want you to be able to see it. And import PES. Option is still selected. We do this, we can see. Okay, so now I want to edit this. But here's the thing. I don't want to edit those manual stitches. I don't. I want to see what's left over if I get rid of those manual stitches. Remember, the manual stitches, you have to edit one node at a time. That's ridiculous. So if I go up here to edit and select by stitch type, I want to select all the run stitches. Oops, need a second hand here. And all the manual stitches. I want to select them all and I want to get rid of them. So I select them and delete them. And this is what I have left over, which is not bad. So remember, we're a digitizer. We're here. We have digitizing software, but we're going to modify a machine file. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find all of my fill stitches. So again, we're going to go to stitch type. We're going to select the tatamis, and we're going to fill those in to a standard .40. Okay, still have some issue here. Just because we converted this from manual stitches to object, and the object means that it just puts, oh, I should show you that, shouldn't I? Here. That is the difference. That is the difference between working with the nodes and working with the objects. I can change this. I can change this to an outline of my object and then refill it, and it comes up cleaner. I can take this. Let's see if we can get there. I can change that. I can delete some stitches here. Yeah, let's get that one too. And then fill it. That was a whole lot easier. And it maintained the shape. Let's see here. Let's see what we got here. So, and change it to filled it. Where'd they go? There it is. We don't need that centerpiece. We can delete that. Do you see how easy that is? Yes, there's still going to be issue. It's not going to take your PES file, convert it to objects, and have it magically be perfect. But it will allow us to get in there change the stitch type, and then change it again to get what we want. Here, let's go ahead and just change the colors of these as we go so we know what's been done and what hasn't. Where's the other one? There it is. All right. There is one thing missing from all of these, maybe. Let's take a look. It did reassign our underlay. If we go over here and look at this one, there is no underlay assigned because remember, we went in and deleted all of the running stitches and all the manual stitches. So there's no underlay here. But convert this back to a running stitch, maybe make a minor edit here and fill it again. And we now have, change the color because, you know, we want to see that. We now have an underlay. So what about that white that was all in the background that was still all kind of individual nodes? Well, that's easy enough to fix. You're just going to fill it in again. You're going to select your color. You're going to select your tool. And you're just going to make your fill stitch. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Just lay in your nodes. Now, you're making edits to a machine file. Machine file that stitched perfectly well before you got your hands on it. Oh, how did that get white? So before you put this out into the world, before you lay it on your machine, you want to test. You want to test stitch it. Don't say, Ramona said all I had to do was convert this from stitch nodes to an object and I can stitch this. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. You still have to make your edits. You still have to correct. Where's the other one? Oh, this is a particular piece, isn't it? We convert that. It's two different pieces. Fill. So what do we do with that? Who knows? I know. Come up here. We take one of these, find its nodes, draw it in here. Yeah, we could just easily fill it all up, but you know, just another technique. And we can blend them. Ta-da! You guys have any questions about this? Anything specific? So yeah, we just changed all of this to fill stitches. We now have underlay. We want to make sure, whoops, you don't want that. Yeah, we still have the ears up here to do. But we're going to skip that for a moment because now we want to make sure that we cut out a void for the overlap. Right now, come along. Right now we have a pink over the white. We don't need that. So just like any other overlay, we're going to select them and then we're going to remove overlap. Ta-da! And it's done. Remember, this was a freestanding lace piece to start with. We want to make sure that we don't have any stray fill happening here. And it doesn't look like it. That's good. We're going to pretend that these are filled. What do the trims look like after the changes? Good question. Shall we bring this out? Simple. The trims return to a normal trim. Looks like we still have some issues with our satins, though. That's where we're going next. Oh, we don't want this to be a hanging element anymore, so we're just going to select this and delete it. Yes, we probably could have done that with the PES file. But since we're here, let's just take care of it. Our trims work out just fine. We're going to take these two, since we're here, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this. And then we're going to mesh them together. We're going to do this, we're going to do this. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. And mesh them together. Let's go look at the whole thing again. So those are all of our fills. And yes, there's probably still some tweaking and such to do. But here, let's look at, well, since we're right here. This is now an object. It's no longer a stitch file. It is now an object file. Let's go ahead and hide all of those. Let's select by stitch type, tatami, hide. And we're doing that because we want to look and see what we want to work with our satins now. If I select this satin and I look at it, I look at the density, 40, I can change that. I can do all of my features here. I do have to add the underlay because remember I deleted all of those manual stitches. I deleted all of those running stitches. So I have to give it its underlay back. And again, I'm just going to change colors so that we don't have to, we know that one is done. Oh, let's bring this up a little tighter. Not so sure I like the way this is ending. Do you see this detail here? So what do I want to do? Do I want to just edit this or do I want to just make a new one? This is a case where making a new one might just be easier. Let's measure and see how wide that satin is. So the M, oh, it's about 2 1/4. So if we take this and we select the stitch we want to create, make our round. Now that one is 3 millimeters. We want to change that to 2.25. We're going to get rid of the old one. And then we're going to take this and copy it over to here. There we go. And we're going to get rid of that one. How do our leaves look? Let's go ahead and change those colors so we don't get confused with the leaves. When I learned to digitize, I was told to always work in the same zoom setting. Didn't matter what zoom setting you worked in, as long as you were working in the same zoom setting for all your work. And that was so that you could train your brain to know what a 1 millimeter looked like or what a 3 millimeter looked like, so that you would know sizing at that zoom. I want to recommend that if you're learning to digitize yourself, that you do this, because it does help. And then eventually you can start zooming into other sizes and still know what size this is. Let's take a look at this one. What is this down here? Oh, that's an object that did not get deleted. And it didn't get deleted because the software saw that it had 4 lines, 4 outside edges, and assumed that it was an object. We know it as an underlay. The same with this one. So we get rid of it. Let's take a look at our fill. Take a look at our underlay. And that looks good. Underlay, fill. And just probably do a global on this. Underlay, fill. There. What about this one? Do we like that one? Yeah, that one looks good. Unhide all. He probably needs some more tweaking, but what do you think? Yes, you can edit. Oh, we're going to take this. I'm going to bring it over here. Remember at the very beginning, we resized? This is, if we go down to the stitch, that's a good question. We'll figure that out in just a moment. Barb wants to know how the stitch count changed. All right. Let's finish this part out first. Remember when we resized before, our 4 millimeter stitch length went to 14. Let's just double check. Am I measuring the wrong direction? I think I am. Come along, little doggy. There it is. 4 millimeters. That's good. That's what we want to see. Now we're going to enlarge this. We made it really, really, really big, didn't we? Let's go back up to the stitches. Wow. That's our old stitch length. Oh, wait. 4 millimeters. 4 millimeters. If we are working with an object, if we're working with an object, we can resize and maintain our stitch length. Which means I can resize this, make some minor edits, but I can treat it like a manual stitch file. Or excuse me, a manual native file. Okay, now Barb wants to know what the stitch count is. Let's see if we can find a way to mark this. This is our edited version. This is our PES file that was converted to objects with some edits. Oh. Let's take this back. We don't want to bring this in as objects. Let's bring it in. There we are. It's not going to work. Do you know why it's not going to work? It's not going to work, Barb, because this is a freestanding lace, which means that it has all kinds of open space on it. So it's not going to work. The other one is a fill. But next time I have to open and work a filled PES for resizing or such, we can approach this again. The other one, though, was only about 13,000 stitches, so it really didn't add a lot of stitches. So, all right. So let's do a little update. I know we're running long. If your info doesn't show it, it does. Here is the new stitch count. Oh, I added that. Let's change that. Stitch count 16,875. The number of trims is 20. Now, of course, if I'm editing this to be a fill, I will go in and make running stitches or connected stitches. For example, these two can probably connect. Maybe not. Oh. But anyways, I would make changes so that it would sequence better. Alrighty then. So here, just a couple of updates before we close things out. I believe I have found a streaming service to replace StreamYard with. In the next couple of, maybe next week, if things all work out. Come back up here. You're welcome, Barb. In the next week, I'll be doing some more video testing, streaming testing. Hoping that if all goes well, We may be using a new service next week, but soon, if not next week, soon. And I did order the camera kit for my laser. Remember, my ultimate goal is to trim cut patches. You're welcome, machine. To trim patches, cut patches in the laser. Camera is actually scheduled to arrive today. So guess what's on today's agenda? I should have that camera today. If all works well, Barb, I'll be testing this week. Diane, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. Should be testing this week. And we might do, if it all works, we'll do another laser show next week. All right. If not, we'll find something else to talk about. I promise. Coffee and conversation will be here. So, with that being said, Frank, let me know if you have any questions about this. But you're pretty versed. You're pretty versed in. You got quite the Wilcom education yourself. I'm sure. Just that one function in the options, and you got this. Barb wishes everybody a great weekend. Me too. I'm going to go up here to my videos and say bye.
Wasn't that fun? Do you have more questions? Do you want to learn something new? Join me at quicktostitch.com for coffee and conversation, and we'll talk about it. Embroidery machines, designs, and business. Hope to see you soon. Bye now.